It's good to have my car back out of the shop again. And welcome. This video is coming to you from Anderson Lake State Park. You know, as a kid growing up, I think I was blessed with a pretty good set of parents. Especially my mom. Both of them were good, but Mom was very approachable. When I was little, Mom took the Bible verse, spare the rod and spoil the child, very seriously. She was a bit of an authoritarian parent, and you towed the line or else. But as we got older, she would release more and more of that and think it wasn't so much of her responsibility anymore. And by the time I turned 18, she didn't have any rules on me at all. She figured I was an adult, and her job as I got older and even into high school, her job was more to listen and just be a sounding board for me. And so I could go, any kind of problem I was having, I could just go and ask her about it, and she would give me her best advice or tell me what she thought, but she wouldn't tell me what I had to do. And it didn't matter if it was health related, embarrassing like a teenager with acne, or if it was something sexual. She wasn't timid about that. Or if it was something relationships or getting along at school or whatever it was, she just was there. And whenever I went to her as an older person and asked questions, she'd just do her best to give me advice. You know, that was incredibly helpful, because not that she was necessarily right in all of her advice all the time, but she had been there before. Everything I was going through, she at one time in her life had gone through, and so she would just sort of tell me how it was with her. That would make it a lot more comfortable. Excuse me, I just had to take a little break. That little white hat just wasn't doing it. Gloves, big hat. It's only October, but the weather thinks it's November. Kind of makes me a little nervous, because I'm headed for Michigan next week, and I think they've already got snow up there. At least some, so hate to see fall go away. Just hope it stays warm through most of Thanksgiving. I'm okay if it stays warm through Christmas. Yeah, I'm okay if it never gets real cold. Okay, where was I? Mom. We lost Mom way too soon. She was just 47 when she passed away. She'd been really helpful to me growing up, and I learned that a young person in their 20s and 30s and 40s need their parents just as much, maybe in a different way, as when they're in their 10s and teens in grade school. Something happens to us between the ages of 35 and 50. We get bifocals. We start losing hair in places we want it and start growing hair in places we don't want it. We start getting minor ailments, a little bit of arthritis, tummy problems sometimes, hemorrhoids. Anyway, there's all sorts of things that look really, really scary if you are 40 to 50 years old and you don't have an older person to talk to tell you, oh yeah, I remember when I went through that. Here's what you do. And I don't know how many times I probably thought I had cancer or something if an older, like my father, who was still alive, clear up into 88, if he hadn't been there to say, yeah, I went through that. We just sort of need a parent. Well, not just a parent. We need someone that we can talk to that is trustworthy, that has been on this journey before us. Sick and easy. I found a warm spot back here in the foliage of this old cherry tree in my orchard, and the wind's not blowing, and it feels like it's 10 degrees warmer than it did over there a while ago. Well, I'm not really talking today about families and needing our parents, although all of that is true. That's kind of an analogy that I'm making to something else, and that is the spiritual life. That we as Christians, just like we as human beings, need a parent or some trusted older person that has been on the journey longer than we have, that has already had the things that we're getting, bifocals and arthritis and hard of hearing and slow of thinking, remembering, that can kind of calm us and guide us through that. You need, and I need, someone spiritually that's been on the journey a little longer. That's one of the benefits of our church family. We're not all the same age. And there are people in our church family that are trustworthy and people we could talk to. And when we're struggling spiritually, we're struggling with our devotions, we're struggling with our attitudes, we're just struggling with our faith. And we're struggling in areas that are confusing and frightening to us. And we think we're losing our faith, or we think we're losing our mind or something. It's quite possible that there's somebody not very far away that's been on the journey a little bit longer, that already has been through that, and they understand that. Now, we can get a lot of really good sermons out of off the internet and off the TV. I don't have any hesitation at all to say that the preachers that are, really big name preachers are better than I will ever be in the pulpit. And the same is true with music. In our church, we have a piano, and we have my wife leading singing, and we have a few people that sing. But a great big choir with a whole band and some of the things that are on TV, we can't match that music. But we can't be matched, or your local church can't be matched for having experienced older people that have been on the journey longer. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean chronologically older, just that have been more experienced in the faith. And we need those people. Worship isn't just about music and sermons and a lot of polish and glitz. It's not just about first-rate theology. It's about nitty-gritty in the trenches, living the Christian life and rubbing shoulders with those that have been doing it longer than we have. Now, when we lost my mom, we lost a lot. If you aren't plugged into a church someplace, you're also losing a lot and may not even know it. Wow. When the leaves are on, this is going to be a great hiding place next summer. I'm going to have to bring my grandkids in here and let them build a little fort or something back there in the cherry tree. Well, you know what I'm about to say? Probably. I'm about to say this is the middle of the week, and we have several days left before the end of the week, and we come together to worship again. Maybe that you haven't worshiped with your church family, maybe as much as you should. Might be a good Sunday to come back and and just say hi. But may God bless you and watch over you and keep you through the remainder of this week and the cold months ahead. I can get out of here.
Ba-ba-da-ba-ba.